In last video, we discussed about the Mercury retrograde. What happens when you have Mercury retrograde in your horoscope? Today, we are going to talk about the Venus retrograde in your horoscope. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahazani, help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic astrology. Venus retrograde. Venus is the closest star, a closest planet to Earth. So it has much more impact than any other planet. In the Kalapurush Kundali or a natural horoscope, Venus rules house number 2 and house number 7. That is the Vrishabh Rashi and the Libra sign. That is Vrishabh Rashi and the Tula Rashi. And interestingly, both these houses, the house number 2 and house number 7, are the Maraka houses. We consider Venus as a benefic, but Venus is the guru of the Asuras. Okay, in natural Kundali, they rule both the Maraka houses, 2nd and 7th. Second house is all about your accumulation, things which you value, things which you accumulate. Okay, your childhood friends and your relationship with your childhood friends, your immediate family environment, all these are ruled by Venus. And the 7th house is all about the business, is all about the other self, is all about your marriage and your marriage partner. What happens when Venus, which is the significator for so many things, the relationship, finance, money, and many other luxurious things, goes retrograde? We are talking about Venus retrograde in your horoscope. Okay, what happens when you have Venus retrograde, and how would you identify if you have Venus retrograde in your horoscope? You just go, if you have a software, just go to the planetary details. You will see the symbol of R just in front of the planet Venus. The planet Venus, when it has that symbol of R, it means that you have the retrograde planet Venus in your horoscope at the time of your birth. We are not talking about the transits. We are talking about the specific retrograde Venus in your horoscope. Okay, so let's first understand what is Venus retrogression. Venus is very close to Earth. Venus gets retrograded for around 6 weeks in almost 1.5 years every time. Interesting thing about the Venus retrogression is the Rashi of the Venus retrogression will always be the 8th Rashi from the previous Rashi. What do I mean by that? Suppose we have Venus retrogression happening in the sign of Libra. Okay, the next time when the Venus will go retrograde, it will be 8 signs away from the Libra. That is, 7th sign would be the Aries and the 8th sign would be what? The Taurus sign. So next time Venus will go retrograde in Taurus. It is always the 8th sign from the previous sign for Venus for the retrogression. And if you see and if you observe this, it creates kind of a design, a wonderful design when it goes retrograde. Okay, that is a different story. We'll make a video some other day. But Venus goes retrograde from the 8th sign of the previous retrogression. This is very important. Sometimes it goes 7th house or 7th Rashi or 9th Rashi, but that happens very rarely. Maybe once in 100 years. That is it. But for most of the time, more than 80% of the time, the Venus retrogression is 8th house, the 8th Rashi away from the previous sign of the retrogression. So next time it will happen in the sign of Taurus. What happens when you have Venus retrogression, the Venus retrograde in your horoscope? Retrogression is an unusual activity. It is not the direct motion, it is the retrograde motion. It appears to be moving backward. So the nature of the planet becomes reflective, it becomes introspective, it becomes inward. All the energies are inward, all the energies direct toward yourself. You start reflecting your values, you start reflecting, you start analyzing, reanalyzing what you value, what are your relationship, what you are expectations from the partner, all these things. Why? Because Venus is ruling the second and the seventh house. These are the karakas for these houses, as they rule the house number second and seven. But the houses ruled in your horoscope, depending on your ascendant, will also get activated during this, and you might find yourself reflecting on the signification of that house and the karakatva of that house and what you value for that house. What do I mean by that? Suppose you have Venus retrograde in your house or in your horoscope, and Venus is somehow ruling the fourth house. So you will start realizing and introspecting your relationship with your mother, and you might start loving her even more for things she did for you. Okay, this is just an example, but the sign of the Venus as well as sign ruled by the Venus, that is Taurus and Libra, come in question, will become active during the retrogression. Not during the retrogression, if you have the retrograde Venus in your horoscope. Venus retrogression makes your energies internalize, and it becomes very difficult for you to communicate regarding your relationships, what you want and what you expect. If you have Venus retrograde in your horoscope, the best thing you can do to overcome it is to communicate, because the Venus retrograde really blocks your communication. It really makes it difficult for you to communicate how you feel about the relationships, how you feel about your love life, how you feel about all the Venus significations. And the pain in the relationship becomes the central theme of your horoscope, the central theme of your life. You try to centralize all your emotions around your pain in the relationship. You start feeling like you are getting hurt into the relationship, and you start asking for the confirmations and validations from your partner. Remember, your partner has different Venus, different set of problems, different set of karma. And when he is talking to you and you are talking with this mindset, the partner might get confused and won't understand. That is his destiny. Okay, we are not going to get into this, but if you have this placement of Venus retrogression and if you want to deal with it, the best thing you can do is to communicate. The feelings can be awkward, the feelings may not be so pleasant, yet you have to communicate those feelings, what you're feeling right now, to your partner. That will help you to deal with the Venus retrogression, and you won't feel that pain in your relationship. Okay, because the retrograde Venus makes you think about what you value. Often when you have the retrograde Venus in your horoscope, you tend to become shy because your life experiences are such that you feel you are not getting enough love, enough affection in the relationship. So that takes you on a back seat. That makes you feel you are not worthy. That may not be the case, but you feel that you are not worthy. You become shy. And how to overcome this? Just say it loud out to your partner and I'm feeling like this. Your partner may be busy in his own life, in his own work, occupied with some other tensions and preoccupied with some other things. He may not have intentionally said something which hurt you. You have to talk all this to your partner. When you start expressing yourself, you don't feel as if you are a victim, and that changes the game for you. Okay, but Venus retrogression is not all the negative. It's just you have to be careful and you have to be expressive. You have to express yourself. Expressing yourself is the key. That's what I have observed. When you start speaking up your mind, things start to change for you for good. Let's summarize retrograde Venus in your horoscope. Venus is the Karaka for house number 2nd and 7, ruled by Venus, that is Taurus and Libra in the Kalapurush Kundali, or a natural horoscope, Naisargik Kundali. So when a planet Venus goes retrograde, these two things, the house number 2, that is Rashi, the Vrishab Rashi, and the 7th is the Libra Rashi, wherever placed in your horoscope, these two houses become active apart from the house wherein Venus is placed. Okay, so these 3 houses becomes active during the Dasha, Mahadasha, transit, all that stuff. Okay, so these 3 houses you have to look for it. Okay, and what will happen is you will start questioning, you will start seeking for the validation, you will start retrograding, you will start introspecting the value you have for these houses in question. When Venus is retrograde, it internalizes your when Venus is retrograde, it internalizes the signification of the Venus in your horoscope. It makes you think about what you value, what you love. It makes you think about your relationship. Is this relationship worth? And many more questions, difficult questions, you will start asking yourself. The key to deal with it is to express yourself, to communicate to your partner, and not to conclude it yourself. Don't be shy. Speak to your partner, and that will help you resolve many of the awkward situations in your life. Okay, so communication is the key for the Venus retrograde. So yes, this was Venus retrograde, as much as I could hold, grasp, and share with you guys. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. You will be getting Vedic astrological videos just like this one, and sending you high vibrations. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.